Hello, it is Thursday, the 6th of March. We are in US trading. We are one day before non-farm payrolls, which I really don't think are that important in the bigger picture of everything that's going on with the United States tariffs and the moves in the dollar. But we are also one day ahead of the new White House crypto summit. The guest list's out, everyone's talking about it. Thank God, honestly, when I look down at this list, thank God Michael Saylor is on it, because if he wasn't on it, it would just be an altcoin summit. And not everyone from altcoins is invited, just a select few, which kind of makes it very scary for me that this might be manipulated. And I do think that we are seeing some de-risking ahead of this. You know, we've seen so much disappointment since Trump became president, with the Trump shitcoin, the Melania shitcoin, and I think people are gearing up for potentially some disappointment about the Bitcoin strategic reserve. As I said yesterday, I am not completely sold that we even need a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Excuse me. However, I am very glad to see there, because Bitcoin doesn't really have any developers or people behind it, I'm very glad to see Michael Saylor on this list. So let's talk about where we are and let's talk about Bitcoin. So at the start of this week, when we had this really nasty shakeout on Friday, I was looking for a bottom and a sign of a bottom after I thought what we had made, a big 3-wave correction. I was looking for 5 waves up and how this was going to unfold to show us that we were, making a bottom and on our way to new highs. If we look from this low, I was looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to this 100,000 and then a 3-wave pullback and then continuing higher. And instead, what we have seen is 3 waves, which for me usually is corrective. Now, sometimes in a wave one, it can be very misleading. And it can look like a 3-wave corrective move, but I have to say, until proven otherwise, this at the moment looks corrective, which for me in Bitcoin means the low is likely not in. And it's possible with this move from the high we made on Sunday that this is the first swing of a corrective move lower to retest these lows. As you know, I'm always looking at measured moves and zigzags. And if we look at this first swing that we made from the Friday low to the high that we made on Sunday, and we projected from this low, we had 2 upside targets, 91,874, which is where this swing would be 61.8 of this first swing, which is very common. And if we continue above it, in other words, we make a bigger A, B, C, the next upside target is 98,308 up here. And then we can see, are we going to hold above this 4-hour? We've got this 4-hour moving averages, but if we look at this on the hourly, let's go down to the hourly. These are looking a little bit more supportive. And then we can talk about potentially, are we going higher from here? If we measure from this high to low though, and we put our fibs on, this here at 98,308, 98,000 would be around the 61.8 fib level. So for me then, the trend support becomes this 50% level where we topped out here in the middle if we're going to keep going higher at 93,825. So I would look, if we break higher from here, this is the pattern that I would look for. And I would look for this 93,825 to be support if we're going to keep going higher. And if we get back underneath it, so in other words, if we do this, that would be my sell signal, because we've done a bigger ABC and we're likely to do quite a deep move lower. But for now, potentially, we could just roll lower from here. Now, I don't think these jobs numbers are going to be surprised. And I do think there are some stuff, which is with going on with Trump and these tariffs that are pretty good news for crypto. The dramatic collapse in the value of the dollar is the biggest of those. For me, that's positive for liquidity, which is one of the biggest correlations for Bitcoin. So this weak dollar is a really positive. What we are concerned about is potentially some disappointment again from this crypto summit tomorrow. So potentially here we are at resistance again. With this three-wave move, if we look at this most recent swing from Tuesday, here we are Thursday, you know, what's going to say we're headed lower from here? I think a close underneath 90,000 would say that this is another bigger swing lower coming. So 90,000 for me today as we trade is important support if we're going to keep push higher, and we need to break these highs, and then again, you know, we're looking for that equal measured move target. Microstrategy has been a really good leading indicator for where we are going in Bitcoin. And if we look at the hourly chart of Microstrategy, again, we were thinking that potentially we had made a big ABC correction in this one, and we were looking to hold and push above 305 and the hourly 200 moving average in Microstrategy to see a bigger bounce from here. And with, you know, with Sailor on the panel tomorrow, this one could definitely outperform, but closing and holding back underneath 305 for me would be a bearish reversal here after a three-wave correction. If we look back all the way, this is the end of January, literally the whole of February, this hourly 200 moving average has been pretty tough resistance for Microstrategy. So as we are looking at this chart now, and we are, you know, an hour into US trading, this is really important resistance again for Microstrategy. I expect a pullback here, and back underneath 305 is a little bit more bearish and potentially sets us up for a three-wave correction ahead of tomorrow. So, you know, nothing yet has made that kind of bullish five-wave move we need to see off the lows. I would really like to see this in Microstrategy, but unfortunately this first swing that we made from Thursday looks to me unfortunately like three waves, and so not yet the kind of bullish structure we want to see to say that the bottom is in, and we are at risk of a deep retest of the lows and potentially more downside. So be careful buying in for this summit. It may be that it's a sell the news event or some disappointment to come. Good luck. Let me know if there's anything you're looking at, and we'll look at